Hi everyone, I hope you had a nice weekend. I'm making you this video to hopefully make your assignment today easier. So you should have already clicked on the video link so you can see this video. And what I'm going to do is show you what your assignment is for today. So you're going to click on this one right here, this number 2, Monday, 4/10, state government. So we are going to be recording our play hopefully tomorrow, and it will likely take more than one day. So bring any costumes that you need, any props, things that you need to wear or to have with you. And if you can bring those to school and keep them at school for a couple of days, that would be a really good help because we will start tomorrow, but we probably won't finish tomorrow. Okay, so for today, you're going to go to this assignment and it will open up this. So this assignment is about the state government. So we have been learning about the federal government, which is the government for the whole country. But actually, each state also has their own government. And that's what we're going to look at for a little bit now. So I will tell you, if you want to just open this and read it by yourself and complete the questions, that's okay. I'm going to read it to you though and explain like the parts that are most important for you to look at. So first off, each state has a constitution. Remember, a constitution is the law of that state. So each state has the supreme law, or each state constitution is the supreme law of the state. However, state constitutions cannot go against the United States Constitution. So the Constitution, that is the law of the entire country, right? There's that document that starts off, we the people. That is the highest law for the whole country, but states also write their own version. Every state had to have a written constitution before it could become a state. And most state constitutions are actually much longer than the United States Constitution. The United States Constitution gives a general list of rules for the government. Most state constitutions include lots and lots of details about how the government needs to be run. Okay, and this part is not that important, so I'm going to skip that. But basically, it's just saying that the older or the farther in the past it was when the state became a state, the shorter the constitution. So the state constitutions for like the 13 colonies are much shorter than other states. Okay, so once you've kind of listened to me read that or you've read it on your own, I want you to answer these 3 true or false questions. So number 1, most state constitutions are longer than the United States Constitution. Delete one of these. Say, is it either true or false? Number 2, a state does not have to have a constitution to become a state. True or false? Number 3, the United States Constitution has to be followed by the state constitutions. True or false? So this is saying that the government constitution for the whole country is more important, has to be followed even by the states. Okay, once you finish those 3 questions, we'll go on to the next reading. So if you saw here at the top of this one, it says that just like the federal government, which has 3 branches, state governments also have 3 branches, the legislative, executive, and judicial. So hopefully you remember that the legislative branch is the branch that makes the laws. And the legislative branch is broken up into 2 parts, the Senate and the House of Representatives. Both of those together make up the legislative branch. So for the states, each state has a legislative branch that makes the laws for that state. Just like Congress, the legislative branches of most states have 2 different houses. Nebraska is the only state that does not have a bicameral legislative branch. That means it only has 1 house. Most states call their legislative branch the legislature. Other states call it the General Assembly, the Legislative Assembly, or the General Court. So it's set up the same way, but sometimes they have different names for it. All right, and it says the upper house is called the Senate in all the states. That's the same as the federal government. The lower house is called the House of Representatives in most states. I'm going to skip this part. It's not as important and go to this next part. So it says each legislature meets in what's called the state capitol. So Washington, D.C. is the capital for the entire country. Each state also has a capital city. And in that capital city is a building where the legislature meets. So some state legislators meet for 5 to 6 months. Others meet for only 30 days a year. The state legislators meet for as long as they need to finish all their business. And this is related to this over here. It says, did you know that although being part of a state legislature is an important job, many people don't want to do it? Why? Because the salary or the money that they get paid for members of state legislatures is so low that most people could not afford to live on it. For example, and this book is like 20 years old, so this isn't true today, but it still, tells you they really don't make a lot of money. New Hampshire legislators get paid only $200 per year. Wow. Alabama legislators are paid $10 per day. So most people who are state legislators also have to have another job. But state legislators have the power to ask for and collect taxes. So we pay taxes, money we pay to the government. We pay taxes to the federal government, but we also pay state taxes. State legislatures also have the power to borrow money for the state, set up courts, and set up public schools. They also have police power. That means that the states are in charge of protecting their citizens, like making sure that they're safe. They're also in charge of promoting public health, public safety, morals, and general welfare. For example, states can promote health by making laws about pollution. You've been learning about pollution in science class, or you were learning about it. So that is something that if you really care about, along with just contacting the representatives and senators and the president, you can also write to your state government. So they can do things like promote health by making children get vaccinations before they start school. They can promote safety by making it illegal to drive without wearing a seatbelt in the car, and a whole bunch of other things. So they can make kind of their own laws. So a lot of laws are different depending on the state that you're in, but they still have to follow the laws that are for the entire country. So for number 4, I'd like you to go on Google and search for a picture of the Illinois Capitol building and put it right here. So do that, find a picture. You can just Google search with this right here. It's in bold, the Illinois Capitol building, and put a picture here. So just like we know there are buildings like the Capitol and the White House in Washington, D.C., every state also has like a fancy building where the government meets. All right, and then the next question is, what are the powers of the state government? What are some of the things that the state government can do? If you would like to do a challenge question, the question is, who is I made a mistake. I think it'll be fixed on yours, but who is the state senator for Skokie, Illinois? Who is the state representative? So you can Google search that and see if you can find out their names. If you don't want to do the challenge question, that's okay. All right, just a couple more branches. So the state government also has an executive branch. Remember, in the federal government, the executive branch is the president. So right now it's Joe Biden. Each state has an executive branch. When you're talking about a state, they're not called the president. They're actually called the governor. So the governor is the person who is like the president of the state. They are in charge. So at the state level, the executive branch is led by the governor. The governor is elected by the people. In most states, the governor serves for 4 years, just like the president. In New Hampshire and Vermont, the governor serves for only 2 years, so it's shorter there, but most places it's 4 years. Each state's governor usually lives in the governor's mansion, so a really big house that's in the state capital. To become a governor, a person must meet certain requirements. So most states, the governor has to be a U.S. citizen. He or she should also live in the state for a certain amount of time, and a governor must usually be at least 25 or 30 years old. So just like there is rules around becoming the president or a representative or senator. Like the job of president, the job of governor includes many different parts. The governor gives ideas for laws and makes plans for his or her state. He or she helps decide how the state should spend its money. The governor is a symbol of the state, like the president is a symbol of the country. So this is an example picture. It says the governor of the state of Minnesota lives in this mansion, this really big house. So just like the president lives in the White House, the governor will live in a mansion in that state. So for this part, I want you to look up these questions, or this one you're going to have to look up online. Who is the governor of Illinois? Who is the governor of Illinois right now? Number 7 and 8 are from the reading that we just did. So number 7, how many years is a governor usually in office for? And then number 8, what is one thing the governor has to do as part of their job? So think what we talked about in terms of this part. What does the governor have to do as part of its job? Okay. Once you finish those questions, last part, the state court system. So most laws that affect our lives every day are made by the states. Therefore, most of the court cases actually take place in state and local courts. So in this section, we'll learn about the different types of state courts. So in each state, there are 2 main types of courts, trial courts and court of appeals. And then each state also has their own Supreme Court. Just like there's one Supreme Court for the entire country, each state also has their most important Supreme Court. And the state court systems are a lot like the federal ones that are for the whole country. All right, I'm going to skip to this part right here. Trial courts use the jury system. So a jury is a group of people who listen to the facts of a case and then make a decision. Juries are made up of 12 people in most states. So that is when someone has been accused or told they have broken the law, they go to court and they have a lawyer who will say, this person is guilty, this person is innocent, and tell all the reasons why. People who are the jury are just normal people who live in that area, and they will listen to what the lawyers say, and then they will vote if the person is guilty or not guilty. So I'm going to skip through this part, and I'm going to look at this part right here. It says many states have special courts. These courts are set up at the city or county level. They include family courts. So these deal with divorces, child custody. So if parents get divorced, they help decide, where the children, how often the children are with each parent. Probate courts, which deal with the money someone has after that a person dies. They try to help decide, where the money goes. They also have juvenile courts. So they deal with people who have broken the law, but they aren't adults. So kids who break the law. There's something special called juvenile courts. And then there's traffic courts, which deal with cases about traffic laws, like if you are going too fast when you're driving or you don't stop at a stop sign, things like that. And then in many states, trial court judges and Supreme Court judges are elected. In other states, the judges are chosen by the governor or the state legislature. So this is kind of like how the Supreme Court works, where the president gets to pick them. Most state judges serve terms that are from 6 to 10 years long. Okay, that was the last part of the reading. So for number 9, what are the 2 main types of courts in each state? Look up towards the top. What are the 2 main types of courts? Number 10, what are some of the special courts that states have? So look up at this part. I'm talking about special courts. What are some of those special courts states have? And then a challenge question. So you could do it if you want a challenge, but you don't have to do it. Is what is a difference? So something that's not the same, or a similarity, something that is close to the same between the Supreme Court and the state courts. Once you finish all of the questions, you've done all of the reading. If you're done and you still have more class time, please watch this video about the federal government and the state government. I also want to remind you that on our Schoology page, you have this government play background slide. So if you have not decided what is going to be behind you for your scene in the play, make sure that you do that because each person only has one slide. So we need to have those slides ready for when we do our play. Okay? Also remember to practice your play parts that you are ready. Okay? All right, I will see you tomorrow. Good luck on finishing all this.